Okay, be my guest. Come back on, please. Perfect. Okay, here we go. I love when technology works out very easily. So welcome to RenéMarie Shokavlak. I'm RenéMarie, and we wanted to have this special broadcast because these three sponsors for our comedy show, which is this coming Friday at 6 p.m. And tickets are still available for a few more days because we do have to give the counts to the caterer. But I wanted to have this broadcast because through Diane Bromberg Stern, who is the owner of Resource Group of New Jersey. What is it? The Senior Resource Group of New Jersey. She is on our board as well. And she is such a giving person, and her organization is just incredible. The way that they give and the way that they are there for everybody and as a group and just everybody on the outside and the senior community is really a gift. And I wanted to have this show and program just to show everybody together what an incredible sponsors that we have and incredible that Diane is. Kevin is unable to be here today. He's from Kinetic Home Therapy Services. He was on our last show. That Jim was also on our last show 2 shows ago. But I wanted to have a special broadcast. So that's why we're coming on today as a special show. Please go to RenéMarie'sLanguageOfLove.org and purchase your tickets. Like I said, we only have a few more days before we need the counts. We're getting up there in the count. So please, Jeff Norris is going to blow you away. And I get to open for Jeff and do my magic and love to sing and bring joy to people through music. So please, 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 if you want tickets, go to the website to buy them. Okay, so here we go. Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you, Jim. Thank you to Kevin for sponsoring. You really did help bring the ticket sales down. And now in this economy, we want to be aware of, of finances for people. And we're so grateful to both of you and to Kevin as well. I'm going to let you guys tell a little bit. I know, Jim, this is probably going to be a repeat for you, but I really wanted to make sure that everybody has the information. If you could just share about a little bit about your company, and then we'll get into how and why you got to this point. But tell a little bit about your company. Cynthia, I'll let you go first since you're new to the show, and welcome and thank you so much. And I can't wait to hear about yours because, Apple Home Care, it's very special. But, home care is a unique, and yours is a very unique senior resource. So let us know a little bit about yourself.
Right. So, hi. So I actually started as a history teacher. I taught for 32 years in Passaic and Bergen County. And I love world history. That's what I taught. And for the most part, now I'm retired. I kind of took my show on the road, if you will. And our company does, I guess the field would be edutainment. It's education and entertainment at the same time. And it just is hour-long presentations on mostly world history or US history topics. And a lot of them, as you saw on my website, they're just already set, or there's a lot of the times these senior communities have themes like cruise to Spain or things like that. So I'll curate different presentations to fit into whatever their themes are. After 32 years of teaching, it's pretty much like I can put things together fairly quick. And because that's just pretty much what we did for 32 years. So yeah, and all the presentations are pictures and images of the things I talk about and very short video clips, but I don't use any notes. It's just storytelling, basically.
That's interesting. And so you do this for, I know you do this for assisted livings and stuff, but do you also do it in community style living? Have you gotten into that world yet?
Yeah. So are you talking about like senior centers and?
No, I'm talking about active adult communities in the lifestyle world.
Yeah, so I have been in a few different places, everything from senior communities to the independent living communities, assisted living. We did memory care as well for half of the time because that just seemed to work better. And just where people could get together and learn a little bit or review some of the things that they already know, and then
Right,
have a dialogue about those things and really add to it too. I've learned a lot from the seniors because they've had so many life experiences and they've visited so many different places. So they'll tell me like, oh, you should look this up. And I do.
right,
And I add it to
right,
my next presentation, which
right,
is
right.
helpful
Yeah. You're always learning. You're always, we know
Yes,
as, as a teacher, you're always learning and from your students or from, other teachers and in that world. So
for
that's
sure.
wonderful. Thank you. I'm going to let Jim feed in a little bit. So Jim, tell us, and I know, the last program audience knows, but tell us a little bit about Applause Home Care. And I got to tell you, you're very comical. And I just saw you on the Alzheimer's, right? I'm just sorry. That's a stroke thing when I forget what I'm talking about. But Alzheimer's. And the pictures when you're standing on your hands and you're laying down, and Diane just posted something like you can't keep Jim. What did she say? You can't keep Jim laying down, or oh, Jim is laying down on the job or something like that. So it's good.
Yeah, so we're Applause Home Care. So we provide, we call them care partners to people in their homes. And what I mean by that, it's interesting that Cynthia mentioned about learning from the people that your audience is. So I started this many years ago, and we can talk about that later, of becoming an aide and being able to receive the care in order to give the best care. So that's the approach that we try to take when we place our care partners in people's homes. So we're there to be companions. We're there sometimes for personal care. It really is tailored for whatever each elder is looking for. I would say probably more than half of our clients have some form of cognitive issue. And that's why the Alzheimer's Association is so meaningful to me. Um, and I'll do everything I can to help. And that's pretty much what we do. We are care partners to the elder community in their homes to keep them as independent as possible.
Thank you. So my question to you guys is, and this is what you were just talking about, Jim, is how did you, I know Cynthia that you shared how you got into um senior history, but why did you pick senior history? Because you were a history teacher, you knew about everything. So why did you designate it towards seniors?
Yes, so I was in my last few years of teaching. I just retired this past June. So I
Where did
started
you
the
used to
company.
work?
I
Where were
worked
you
in
a teacher?
Northern Valley in Old Tappan, and
Oh,
before
okay.
that I worked at Lakeland up in Wanacue.
Okay, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I used to be a food service director,
Okay.
and I work for Pumptonian, and aren't we
Oh
are
yeah.
some
Yeah.
Pumptonian up in
Northern Valley.
Northern Valley? Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure, for sure. So yeah, so I'd done that for such a long time, but I knew I was retiring and I wanted to start something on my own. And I loved the part of teaching where it was presenting, right? Storytelling. I just really enjoyed it, putting the presentations together. My mom is actually 84. So we started looking at assisted living places for her about that same time when I was thinking about all of this. And one of the things that the folks were telling us is that they have all of these activities and they seemed fabulous, like great, wonderful activities. But what I also noticed is that there was a possibility of having another type of activity, like something a little bit different, where it was more like kind of bringing the school to the community without the dredge of homework and all
Right,
the boring
right,
stuff
right.
of it. It's just vividly learning and reviewing all of this information that, like I say, a lot of them have experience with. So I just started putting things together, reaching out to places, and it seemed to really be something people needed and wanted.
Yeah, it's different. That's it's a different presentation, because like I said in the Zoom green room, I'm on the front end and I'm on the back end.
Right.
I work as a lifestyle director. I think I said lifestyle director, but I was a food service director for Pumptonian back in many years ago. but I'm a lifestyle director. So, offline, we'll talk about promoting this to the communities because, active adult communities are 55 and above, and they're living on their own, but they love all that kind of stuff, to bring a different personality to the community. So, and Jim, yours is in Fairlawn, and now I work at the Radburn Association, which is right in Fairlawn. So we're going to talk about somehow bringing you and Diane in so that you could provide information, because Radburn Association is not an active adult community. However, I believe, and I know you do too, Jim, that this information needs to go to the children of people that are elderly, because not elderly, but seniors, because you never know when you're going to need it. And why wait until you need it? And then you're in a rush to get somebody, So we're going to definitely bring you guys in. But tell us, I know, but tell us a little bit about your information, how you gravitated towards seniors.
Well, the short version of it is I worked about 26 years in financial services. And the history goes back well before that. My dad died when I was a kid. Really had a small family, and I gravitated to people older than me, and I still do, just to get their knowledge. We're talking about history, and if you don't know your history, you're apt to repeat it, kind of thing. And I think, particularly in the United States, we don't appreciate our elder population as much as we probably should. In other cultures, it's a more respectful, tribal type of thing.
Yeah.
So throughout my life, I always gravitate to people older than me. And then towards the end of my financial services career, I started doing volunteer work in the elder population, and it just opened up all the things I wanted to be as a person. And I saw a lot of bad care. I saw a lot of good care. And it really motivated me to start this company. I like the one-on-one nature of what home care is all about. You can get to know everybody's simple pleasures because everybody's a little different. We're all the same, I think, mainly, but everybody has these simple pleasures. And I think, in addition to the physical suffering that some of our elder population has, it's the mental part that is at least as important as the physical part. And it's really my goal to connect as much as possible to that mental part, because people want to participate in life. We're social animals, and making sure that people feel wanted, appreciated, and listened to. I think we all need that, but particularly in our elder population, I think that isolation is just it's an epidemic, and as the population ages, and it's really my goal to address that.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I know when I performed many years for the assistant livings, and when I went in, they were down, and it took me a good 30 minutes of continuous singing. And I didn't sing like love songs. I sang high energy songs to get them moving and get them in the rhythm. And then, then you throw in some, love songs and soft music later on. But, to touch them, I had someone, Preakness Healthcare, who is vividly in my mind, that his sister used to do the holidays there. And his sister would bring him down in the bed. Like they'd roll the bed in just to be a part of the event. And she wrote on a little napkin, like, they really, look forward to seeing you because you make a difference, and each of you are making a difference in the lives of people. And that's such an incredible thing that you guys are doing. I'm just trying to think of the next question because I was so into what you were saying. But so, I mean, what's your future plans, Cynthia? Like, I know you're still crafting, but what's your future plans for your company, and where you plan on taking it?
So right now it's my husband and I, and he's still teaching.
Oh yeah, because you had said before that he was a teacher as well.
He is, yeah. My kids had no chance. They were they were definitely on the history track. But in any case, so the company's called Speakers for Seniors, although I use historical speakers because that's what we usually do. But a lot of my friends who are teachers who are also going to be retiring soon work for my company too. So
Ah,
yeah, so we've had people reach out to us to ask if they have like science presentations, and I have a science person who goes and does that. I have a friend who's an artist. She's also an art teacher, and she's an artist, and she's done a number of presentations as well for us. So I have another history teacher who is really well versed on all the history that I'm not necessarily well versed on. So she's got all like the little stories and things for that. So she'll do some of those things for me as well. So I'm just hoping to grow it a little bit. And honestly, because of social media, we've had a lot of people reach out in other states. So we've been doing like Zoom twice a week to a place in Virginia. We've done out in Ohio. And the funniest email came earlier this year. Somebody from England at Sir Winston Churchill's estate reached out and said, "We'd like you to come and present." And I said, "Well, I'm in New Jersey." I said, "But if I'm ever in England, I'll go, yeah, if you're ever in England, come by." And so it I think is something where it could grow. I'm just in the process of figuring that out since I spent a long time being in the education world. The business world to me is a little bit new.
yeah,
So
yeah. It's hard. And good, thank God, Jim, you have financial background, right? Because running a business is about finances, and make sure that you could handle the front end and back end. I'm not very good at the back end. I mean, I try, but I mean, even Diane said to me the other day, she would, in a funny way, she goes, "You're not good at selling." I said, "No, I'm not good," because I just want to provide joy to people. I just want to provide love to people. That's all I want to do, but I do know that I have to, be a financial person. That's why on my board, you got a finance and you got a treasurer, all this, because you need somebody to go, "No, you can't buy that. No, you can't do this. No, let's do it like this." So your financial end helped you to navigate your business that you created, right?
Yeah. 26 years in financial services. Yeah, and I had, very advanced degrees and certifications, and it's funny, for 26 years, waking up almost every day, wondering why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yeah. You
And
were
now I know.
setting yourself up. You were setting yourself up for
Yeah.
this, Maybe you should give us some not, I don't know about Cynthia, but I know me, financial, structure.
training.
Okay, don't do this. Okay, do that. But it's
Yeah,
true.
that'll be another podcast. The
Finance.
nonprofit to make you profit,
Yes, yeah.
something like that.
It's hard. It's hard nowadays. I tell you the truth. I mean, Diane does an incredible job in events. She knows how to talk to people. She networks. She's the best at what she does. And she does things with a love. She does it. She's got the knack, right? She's got the knack to have the love for people and know how to market it and sell it. She's very good at that. But you sometimes you have to take a step back and you go like, there's got to be an easier way. So my unconditional love tour, I'm putting that on the road, and I want to go to places like active adult communities and so that I could be paid one amount. A portion of that will go towards the foundation, and a portion will pay the team that puts it together. So that's the next phase of this, because putting on these events, it's hard. It's hard to put on events, and you feel bad because we got a little bit of a bigger audience this time, because Diane and I put it on the Patch. We put it on Eventbrite. Diane put it on a couple different areas. You guys are marketing it on Facebook and net. So we did, but you're always going to your bottom line, to your base people, and how much could they, how many things could they do? Never mind how much could they support, how many things can they go to and stuff like that. So that's the next phase of it, because this is the third event we're having. We did a tricky tray, which Diane made 200 baskets. They were beautiful. And then we did my unconditional love concert kickoff last year, and now this is the comedy event. We're going to still do events like this, but just one a year. And our telethon is coming up, my foundation's telethon. So a lot of different moving parts, so it's good.
It's tough with the event planning because you have to have just like in life, you have to have consistency and sustainability, and then boop, it's done.
Yeah.
And then on to the next.
Yeah.
So you have to have that, that passion. So passion for compassion, I call it. And you have to harness that. Because to me, life is all about the day-to-day grind. We have holidays and things like that, but most of life is in the in-betweens, and event planning is epitomizes that with the amount of work that has to be done for one event.
Yeah, we I work for the Radburn. I work for Taylor Management, which is an incredible management company, which I'm going to introduce to both of you for your businesses. Because I actually am on the leadership committee for Taylor Management. That's my day job, and I work for Radburn Association. And we have a family day every year. They've been doing it for 90 years. And like we start now, we have camps that we start now, and like it gears up, and it gears up and it gears up. And then the summer's like, like it's crazy what we have to do. So it's very interesting. So I'm just trying to think of the next question, because I'm talking too much. So what are you doing for, Jim, tell us a little bit, because Cynthia shared, what's the vision for your company? I know you're doing a great job in with, your surrounding areas and stuff like that, but tell us a little bit about your vision. Are you planning on growing the company? Do you just want to reach out to people? How do they reach out to you?
Well, in terms of growth, I have to be very careful with that, because I got into this, and it's such a personal business. And this is why we didn't go with the franchise model of trying to just get bigger and bigger,
Right.
And for a number of other reasons too. So yeah, we probably will add another location in New Jersey at some point. And there's a vision for that, but it has to be done in a very thoughtful way. Because this is not really something we want to commoditize, because it is an individual business. And that's the funny thing about home care is, and healthcare in general, is very fragmented. You mentioned before about, a daughter or a son just in panic mode because they didn't think about the need, or even it could be the elder themselves or a spouse or themselves.
Yeah.
That, it's kind of morbid in some ways of thinking about your own mortality. And as you age, something happens. You may trip, you may fall, and something happens. So, expanding a business to address this personal stuff has to be done in the right way. So we'll never be the biggest one, and I don't want that. So yeah, we do have plans to expand, but it's very, we've been doing this a little over 6 years now. And it's bigger than I thought it was going to be. Which is nice. But there's a lot of work and a lot of time commitment to be present to make sure things are being done in a certain way. You don't want to have a vision and then all of a sudden, yes, people get onto it and it expands to a point where it's not your original intent and really your mission. So we're carefully expanding. So to reach out to us, we're in Fairlawn, but we're not a franchise, so we can go anywhere in New Jersey, which is one of the benefits of going to an independent home care company. You can reach out to us 201-326-8051 or go to applaushomecare.com.
Perfect. Thank you, Jim. And Cynthia, how do they reach out to you if they want to, hire you or book you? or, you know, just for more information. I know you both have websites as well. I've been on them this morning, checking you guys out just to refresh my mind. So you could definitely go to both your websites, but how do they reach out to you personally?
Yeah, so there's two ways. It's historical speakers for seniors at gmail.com. If they email me, I'm very good at, you know, getting right back. And then my phone number is 201-543-9636. They could text me or call me, and, you know, I'll get back to them at that point. And they can take a look at all the topics that we have on the website, the historicalspeakersforseniors.com. And there's also pictures of me and my husband and a little bit of a biography of who we are. Because, right, to Jim's point, you know, the company becomes so personal, and you have this vision for it and the way, you know, you want it to be done, because you know it's successful doing it a certain way. And by successful, I mean people enjoy it. They get real joy out of it. You can't just kind of have people who, you know, just come on board with not your vision in mind. So that's definitely, I think, going to be a challenge for me. Although, like I say, some of my speakers are my personal friends. So I've seen them teach. I know how they teach. They know me. They know, you know, where this is all going. So that's been helpful for sure.
Yeah, and I was just looking at your website, like give us a history, like give us a topic, like something that you would share with everybody. One of the most popular ones. Are there some that are popular?
It's funny because I started off with Renaissance art. I thought that would be, you know, something that everybody really gravitates towards, and they do. I actually usually start out with that when I go to a new community. Michelangelo, Da Vinci, and all the stories behind the great masterpieces, and then some of the more obscure things, which is really interesting, and journey through that. But the Czars of Russia have been really popular, only because many a times what I do, because history is so connected to what's going on currently in everywhere, in every part of the world, I'll bring it up to modern times and just connect it that way. So that's actually been something of interest. And then this month, for the most part, every time we visited a community, we've done the road to 9/11, which I know, you know, is a little bit touchy, of course, especially in this area. Everybody has their own connections to that tragic day. It's the history behind it, going back from 1966 all the way to the day and then past the day. And so people learn a little bit about that and seem to be very interested in that. And I've always prided myself on staying away from politics as a teacher. It's not my place. I don't want to discuss politics. What's that?
Just give them the facts.
Yeah, just give them the facts. And, you know, sometimes people, especially older people, want to come up and say their piece, and that's fine. You know, everybody has their opinions and stories about things. But it's not my intent ever, you know, whatever the topic that we're doing, to inject politics. It's not necessary. I think the facts are, you know, they speak for themselves as they're being presented. And that's not my story to tell. It's my job to tell the facts of the story. Right? That makes sense?
Yes. And Jim, tell us some of your services as well, because I know you go to homes, but tell us some of the items and services that you provide, you know, when you go there. What can you do? What services do you offer?
Starting with companionship, it's medication reminders, meal preparation. We're not housekeepers, but we will do light housekeeping, like the laundry, change the sheets on the bed, running errands, and just being like a buddy. So that's the companion part. And then the personal care is all the companion stuff, plus all the hygiene aspects. We're not medical, so we cannot inject, we cannot use anything with a blade. But we can do all the personal care, hygiene, bathing, dressing, helping somebody walk a little bit. And again, I emphasize that we try to do it with the person, not for the person. So we want the person to really participate as much as possible in their own care.
Yeah. So you said something about food prep. They cook.
Yeah.
You'll cook for.
Absolutely.
That's a great thing. That's a unique item, because I never heard other.
We're not bringing over Wolfgang Puck, but you know, it's not a chef thing. But yes, the basic meals, of course, we do that.
That's awesome. That's really a way to bond with somebody, right? Is
Mhm.
through cooking and eating together. Do they eat what they cook with the clients?
It depends on the person. Like some clients are like, do not hover over me. Do not,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
need you when I need
yeah,
you. And
yeah,
other people
yeah,
are, they want that warmer touch. But that's
yeah,
also part of what I was mentioning before of this is not a commoditized business. Everybody has their simple pleasures. We have somebody that used to be a chef as a client. So they do want to participate for sure in the
right,
meal preparation, and that makes them
right,
feel good. And then they can teach. So
right,
it's also coming in and whatever somebody has to give in their own care, we want them to do. So when we do a profile before we onboard somebody, we want to know what their interests are. If they worked, what did they used to do? What do they like to do? What do they not do anymore that they would like to do if possible? So that's
right.
all part of the profile of somebody before we take them on as a client.
And are you the one that goes over to interview to just, to see who would be the best match for them? Or do you have a team that does that? Or
Yeah, I do the intakes myself. We do not have a salesperson. So, and that's important for me because we do have a scheduling team. And once I do the intake and we get an agreement that we feel like it's a good match, that we could do this, and I'll sit down with our scheduling team and we go over everybody to see who's the best fit. Because everybody we have is really clinically good. It's really the personality that makes it work or not. And I would think I haven't done the statistics, but I think we're around 85% right the first time.
yeah, well, you kind of understand, you know, after doing it for so long, you kind of get a feel for what would be the right direction to go in with them, because you're doing it personally. You're not having somebody do it for them,
Yeah, and which is the reason why I'm very careful about expanding. So I still want to be, I mean, that's like my secret sauce, I guess, if there
Yeah,
is one, is that personal involvement to make sure that we're bringing on people that we really can care partner with, and we're
yeah.
hiring the right people that understand that.
Yeah, it's so I was telling Cynthia in the Zoom green room about this statue I have here, and it was from when my dad, not this specific one, but when my dad was in ICU. And you become bonded with other people that are there as well. And we there was a Japanese family there that their daughter was on hospice. And I put this in the room of the family room there at the hospital. And we just bonded over it, and I saw him looking at it, and I gave it to him. And through just the feeling, we couldn't speak to each other, but I was able to present him with it, and he was so grateful. And the reason I bring it up is because what you're talking about, both of you, is just bonding with people and making sure that it's personal, and really caring for people. And those moments, you're making such memorable moments for their lives at such an critical stage in their life. It's really important. You guys are incredible in what you do. Cynthia, I was thinking while Jim was talking about another option that maybe you can think about going in direction is to make podcasts, online podcasts that people could view at their own time. That would be a direction that would be wonderful, because that'll give people the option to present it. Because I know assistant living sometimes, like around the world or around the area of the companies, you can't be present for them, but it's almost like having a vending machine. They could serve it, they could purchase it whenever they want, and they could use it whenever they want. So it's a good option.
Right, right. Yeah, I've never done a podcast like myself. I don't know.
Yeah,
I would have to do some research on that for sure, but it's not
yeah,
a
but
bad
even
idea.
yeah, and live podcasts work. But even when you go on and you could have your services, your storylines, and then they could go on to buy it for 24 hours, just almost like Netflix or some or movies. I'm just thinking out loud.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
on the business end, so I'm putting my business end hat on.
Thank you.
I'm
I
not good at
appreciate it. I
I'm
do.
not good at how much it should cost and all that kind of stuff, but I'm good at thinking about it.
Thank you. I do appreciate the ideas because it's like, yeah, all these things that, sometimes you're so wrapped up in one aspect of it, you forget that there's all these other little aspects that could actually be a part of your goal, right?
Yeah.
Like, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's such, the world is at your fingertips, right? You have the possibility to really impact everyone, both of you, in such an impactful way, so it's incredible. We're going to be going in a few minutes, but I want Jim to talk about insurance, because as much as I hate talking about insurance, it's something that we need to talk about. So do you talk to us about the insurance? Did you accept, or how they should go about doing that?
Well, we're not considered medical, so medical insurance unfortunately does not cover, except Medicaid does. And that's a whole, we could do a podcast just on Medicaid.
I know.
So Medicaid does cover, but really the only insurance that consistently covers home care is long-term care insurance.
Right.
And that's something that you have to pay in premiums every year.
Yeah.
In New Jersey, there's firefighter benefits that cover home care. Certain religious organizations subsidize some of the care. And then there's other financial things that you could do with reverse mortgages and things like that. But predominantly, we're looking at long-term care insurance and private pay.
Yeah. Long-term care insurance. I was blessed many years ago to meet someone named Tracy Lawrence. She passed away during COVID. But she was doing a softball marathon for me that I was doing at the Hawthorne Fields here. And she was one of the entertainers, but she also works, she grand family planning she used to run. And I was talking to her about, like, my stroke and all that kind of stuff. She said, you got to get what is it called?
Long-term care insurance.
Long-term
Yep.
care insurance. It was like over 10 years ago. So that I purchased that, and I have that. But that we do need to do a show on that, Jim, because what I think, and I'm so silly. I always forget this gentleman's name. He's in Diane's group. But he was on the show with us, Jim. He was on the show that we did. Anyway, so what I thought was we should talk about this to college students, because educate them then that it'll be cheaper, because you never know what the future holds, so you're setting yourself up when you're in college, so that we are going to do that, so that we can bring that to the attention. And families, people don't try to set up for the future. They think, I believe, I think I got the grasp that they think that if they talk about it, it's going to happen to them. They're gonna kind of get sick. But it's like a business, right? You have to look at your life like a business. You have to set yourself up for the most successful thing. And I wish many years ago, when I was in college, or I wasn't in college, but when I was in high school or younger, somebody would have said to me how to set my life up, because I didn't know how to set my life up. I didn't know that I needed to have a 401k. I needed to start investing, and I needed to do this, so that when I got to this age, I could have choices in my life, So we do have to do a show. I just spoke about that on the last show that I did, a special broadcast, having a show on that. So we're definitely gonna talk about that and how you can get that. I hope you'll join us, Jim, because it's really important to
Yeah,
talk about
absolutely. And there's one other benefit I did forget: veterans benefits for the
that. Right.
veteran and surviving spouse. That does help in some cases.
Right. And and to me, I mean, when I used to for a while, I think I was going between jobs, and I didn't have, or my doctor, Dr. Herman in Fair Lawn, he didn't take my insurance, but I still went to him because I trusted him. He knew my history. He was a person that when I went in, he sat down, he cared, he took care of me, and he knew he was my main base. I still go to him. So, people will pay to have services because it's about the trust. It's about the trust in them. Sometimes it's not about the money will follow where you need to, hopefully. And that's why my organization, my next phase is to help those that their insurances run out. I'm talking about really help those that their insurances run out. Yes, we make a donation here and there, but we haven't had the financial stability. So, in this phase of my life, I'm 62. I'm going to be 63 in January. I want to start dedicating my life towards my foundation and making a difference in people's lives and making insurance not the issue. And one of my long-term goals would be to have a location, where people could come for physical therapy and speech therapy and music therapy. And what I was hoping that doctors and, physicians and physical therapists that are seniors or retired would dedicate their services there so that we could help those that their insurances run out and give them other options. So I have visions. So
Good to have them.
yes. Thank you so much for taking the time today. I know a Sunday morning is really hard, but we appreciate you. And, is there any final comments that you'd like to make? I want to give you both the option to really and share again, just so we have it in one space where they can reach out to you, if you don't mind. Cynthia, go first.
Okay. So just, my name is Cynthia Affinito, obviously Historical Speakers for Seniors at gmail.com, or, you call me at 201-543-9636, and just reach out if you have a topic in mind or, something that you're thinking of. Most likely we have a speaker for that. So just let us know and we can help out that way.
Perfect. Thank you, Cynthia. I'll be talking to you for my first hat. Jim?
All right. Thoughts for the day. Well, live every day like it's your last day. It's there's only one September 28th, 2025, and here we are.
Yeah.
So every day is an opportunity to do something good. Best way to reach us is to call us 201-326-8051 or go on our website, applaushomecare.com. There's a form you can fill out, whether either you're looking to become a care partner as an aide, or you need help for yourself or a loved one.
Thank you so much. I have another question for you, Jim. I'm just thinking, how did you come up with the name? Did you come up with the name Applause Home Care?
Yeah. So when I did the volunteer work that I mentioned before, it was right off of Broadway in Midtown Manhattan for a nonprofit called Encore. So it was an encore for a life well lived. So it really that place saved my life. So it's an homage to Encore and really an appreciation for a life well lived, but also the work that's being done as a care partner to do that. So it came to me like in 2 seconds. It was really easy. It's a very positive view because there's so much negativity of the grind of the daily life that, we all need to take a step back and applaud, and have a real positive attitude towards life.
Wow. That's very powerful, Jim. It's really powerful. And I love the way you both put a lot of thought into what you're doing. It's not like, you're just want to run a business. You're really putting a special intention into what you're doing in your life. And that's incredible. So thank you so much for joining us today. And I want to thank everybody watching us. And of course, this will go on the website and on the social media, and I'll post it on Facebook. It's on Facebook, but we put a rewind on Facebook. And we want to thank you for joining us today, and have a special day. And life is a gift. That's the last line in my book. And I know that it really is a gift. And I love doing these shows because they remind me of that. And that there's special people in the world like Jim and Cynthia and Kevin and Diane. And they really do want to make a difference in yours, and how blessed we are to be able to know them. So thank you so much. I always blow kisses on 3 if you feel comfortable. 1, 2, 3. Bye, everybody. Have a blessed day. Have a wonderful Sunday. Bye. Thank you so much, everyone.